FM News Talk 97.1.
On-demand audio.
The wall is going to be paid for by Mexico. People are not going to be able to tunnel because we're going to have tunnel technology. We're going to have all sorts of things on this wall. There's going to be a real wall. Drugs will stop flowing into our nation and poisoning our youth and everybody else. We're going to have all sorts of E-Verify and everything you can think of in terms of immigration. People will not come into our country illegally.
So Donald Trump, again, with Anderson Cooper last night, spelling out once again what his immigration policy is. Still going to build a wall, still going to do all this. Does seem to have softened somewhat on the deportation force, which is what the media wanted all along. I mean, the left wanted all along to hear somebody say, we're not going to round these people up and rip them away from their families. So Trump comes out and he goes, well, it's kind of hard to do that. I've been getting a little bit of feedback on that. Maybe it's a process, is what he says. And they're just, I mean, the headline on CNN is Trump's mixed views on immigration. So the debate continues. We're joined right now by Marc Krikorian from the Center for Immigration Studies. My friend, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good to get you on the air here. What's your take on the ongoing outrage over Donald Trump's immigration stance?
Well, I mean, my first concern is he's been running for over a year with immigration as his marquee issue, and he still hasn't nailed it down yet. I mean, this really is a matter of kind of campaign malpractice. If he doesn't have his views straight on gun control or taxes or what to do about Ukraine, nobody cares because that's not what he's running on. Immigration is his thing. That's the whole point, and he still hasn't figured out what he believes. It's really kind of a problem. What really shocked me was on Wednesday on the Hannity show on Fox News, he started using the terminology of Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio, saying, well, we'll work with people. It won't be amnesty. We'll just let them stay, and they'll pay back taxes and this kind of thing. I mean, these are the terms that Chuck Schumer developed for the Gang of Eight. And my point is not really that Trump knew what he was doing. He was just sort of saying things that he heard from whoever he spoke to last. It's really a problem, really very disturbing.
It is, and as I pointed out yesterday, there's still a vast canyon between what changes he's made in his stance and what we know would exist under Hillary Clinton, though.
Oh, there's no question about that. I mean, honestly, if Hillary gets elected, we might be pining for the good old days of Obama being president as far as immigration goes. So yeah, there's no question about that. But what my concern was that Trump seems to have realized this idea that he was going to deport all the illegal aliens with a deportation force just wasn't going to happen. It's not practical. It's not doable. It's not prudent. And no immigration control thinker has ever suggested that. He made that up off the top of his head. Now he has to walk it back.
He does have to walk it back. I still, in terms of whatever his position is now, and he's talked about the wall. He's talked about the visa overstays and making sure that we round up the bad ones. And you're right. That's what caught my ear because of what I heard from Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio during the primary season. Do you think, and maybe it doesn't matter for the sake of our conversation here, but is it a way of trying to reach out to those people who supported those candidates to try to firm up his Republican votes?
Yeah, probably. I mean, maybe not specifically saying how do I reach out to Marco Rubio voters, but generally how can he reach out to Republicans who don't like him as well as people in the middle of the road? And I get that. I mean, he has to walk back this, deport all the illegals, throw them all out over, in a year or whatever it is. In fact, they should have cleaned that up the day after he said it, but that was months ago.
Right.
They didn't do anything about it. But there's two ways to do it. One is you start talking like Jeb and Marco. The other is you just talk about the elements of his own plan that's been on his website for months and say, look, what we need to do is stop new people coming in cold, increase we throw out more people. In other words, more deportations, but not 12 million people tomorrow. Make it hard to get a job. Make sure that new visitors who come here legally leave when they're supposed to leave, because that's the main source of illegal immigration today. And what happens is the illegal population shrinks over time through attrition. In other words, what he needed to say is, look, that deporting all the 12 million people tomorrow, that was like a gut reaction. That was, me being Archie Bunker yelling at the TV, that kind of thing. But, now we've looked at it more, and it's not really a policy. So this is basically gets us where we all want to be, but this is, real policy that law enforcement experts have worked with, and this is actually going to work. That's different from sort of, freelance speculating about, well, if they all pay back taxes, maybe we'll let them stay. I mean, that was really disturbing.
Yeah, I would agree. What did you hear the Anderson Cooper interview last night?
No, I saw the story on it. I didn't watch it.
What was your take on this? Listen to what Cooper said to him.
Because we're not looking to hurt people. Well, I don't think it's a softening. I think it's...
But 11 million people are no longer going to be deported.
I've had people say it's a hardening, actually.
But 11 million who have not committed a crime,
we're
there's going to be a path to legalization. Is that right?
It's a process. You can't take 11 at one time and just say, boom, you're gone.
So specifically, Mark, what I drew out of that was this bite by Anderson Cooper.
But 11 million who have not committed a crime.
So he's basically arguing that these 11 million people that now Trump is not going to immediately deport have not committed a crime. But isn't that why we call them illegal aliens?
Well, they're illegally here, and almost all of them have, in fact, committed a whole series of federal crimes. Now, the first thing is that most of them, probably more than half, although not all, more than half, snuck across the border. That's a federal misdemeanor. But in a sense, that's the smallest, least relevant thing, because most of them work. 7 or 8 million of the illegal immigrants have jobs. The rest are moms or kids or old people, whatever. But 7 or 8 million illegals have jobs. Most of those people have fake or stolen IDs. So they're all of those people have committed federal crimes of identity theft or identity fraud, also tax fraud, also if they have an on-the-books job, as most working illegals work on the books, with fake documents. They signed a paper that says, on penalty of perjury, this is who I really am. So that you got several million illegal aliens who are perjurers. And, in fact, we did a whole publication a couple of years ago, I think, listing all of the various criminal offenses, not civil offenses, but criminal offenses that illegal immigrants, they don't all commit all of them, but that illegal immigrants do, in fact, commit. And the thing goes on for pages and pages.
Well, I would, that caught my ear, because it's the thought seems to be that, you're only going after the hardened criminals, which he should. Nobody's more frustrated than I am, too. In fact, I've got a story I'm going to talk about later today where there's somebody sitting in a jail cell who had been caught before and was released, and ICE didn't hold them, and they went out and committed another crime, and this time it happened to be a murder. We've heard that story over and over again. Donald Trump did a really good job hammering that when he first brought the subject up, and I haven't heard him mention it since.
That's clearly the first place to start. And the thing is, that's what Obama is saying. Well, we're getting rid of the worst of the worst. But the fact is, they're not. The deportations, even of convicted criminals, have been going down for about 4 years now, each year less than the year before. But more important than that, part of any broad strategy to reduce the illegal population isn't that you just deport people who have chopped someone's hands off with a machete or something like that. It's anyone who gets arrested by the police. If you get arrested and you're an illegal immigrant, there's no kind of fine-tuning about, are you illegal enough of an illegal immigrant to deport? No. You come to the police, and we're not knocking doors down. See, that's the difference. The question is not what Trump initially suggested, is that you're going to go knock on the door. Any illegals here are going to grab them out of bed and take them out. That's not going to happen. What you do is any illegal that comes to you, in effect, if you're law enforcement, all of those people always get deported.
Right. And
you end up with significantly increased deportations, but you don't have, neighborhood sweeps and, pulling people out of their homes and all that kind of thing, unless there's some kind of warrant, for their arrest. The point is, illegals come to you. Any one of them that come to the attention of the authorities have to go. Along with other things, you end up with a shrinkage. Illegal population could be cut in half, probably, in one presidential term, and then you can talk about whether you're going to amnesty the people who are left. But you shouldn't be speculating about this.
No, I would agree with you completely. Marc Krikorian, Center for Immigration Studies. I would direct people to CIS.org to find out more about the good work that Marc and his staff do there at the Center for Immigration Studies. Marc, thanks again.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, good points all, and I appreciate him making those.